Until the moment her husband shoved her forward to take a knife meant for his lover. The woman finally gave up on him completely, and after coming back to life, she decided he was going to pay for everything he'd done. So she returned to work, pulled surveillance footage to get proof of his affair, and cut ties with her ungrateful son without hesitation. In her past life, she'd brought a cake to celebrate their 7th anniversary, only to see her husband hugging his assistant after work. And even when she confronted him, he didn't feel guilty at all. He mocked her for getting old, and when they clashed over work issues, he actually pushed her in front of a knife to save himself. When her kidney ruptured and she needed emergency surgery, he coldly chose to abandon the operation, and even prepared to declare her death an accident. Just then, her aunt rushed in. After hearing the doctors say her chances of survival were slim, her aunt asked to see her one last time. Through spells and incantations, she helped the woman voice her final wish. Hearing that she wanted to go back and take revenge, her aunt pulled out a knife and told her to hold it with the last of her life. As the chanting continued, the woman's heart finally stopped. When she opened her eyes again, she had woken up 1 year earlier. Her husband came over asking where his tie was, and complained on behalf of their son that her healthy breakfast tasted awful. She simply said, "Then don't eat it." He immediately sensed something was off, but he had no idea she already knew the real him. When his assistant called, she told him to talk in front of her. He insisted it was just about work, and the assistant nervously claimed they had 13 issues in the financial report to discuss in person. But that line was the secret code she and her husband used back in the day. A lie they told a professor so they could leave class early to go on dates. Now the code had become the excuse he shared with the woman he was cheating with. When he tried to get affectionate, she pushed him away, and encouraged him to go handle work with the assistant. He was confused. She used to get jealous if he even spoke to another woman. He even accused her of not loving him anymore. She fired back, asking if he was sneaking around with his assistant. Panicked, he muttered another work excuse, and hurried out. She didn't care anymore. She wasn't going to be jealous ever again. That morning, she put effort into making breakfast for her son, but he threw it on the floor, saying the assistant wasn't controlling like she was, that the three of them were happy together, and he wished the assistant were his mom. Heartbroken, she decided she was done being a stay-at-home wife. She applied to return to the workforce. Even though the teacher said she'd need 3 months of retraining, she agreed without hesitation. Coming back to work was her first step toward revenge. Later, the scheming assistant and her husband were about to check into a king bedroom when they spotted her at the hotel. She said she was booking a presidential suite to surprise him for their anniversary. Then the front desk announced his king bedroom was ready. She immediately accused him of cheating with his assistant. The assistant lied, saying she was here to investigate a legal dispute for the hotel. Her husband waved a briefcase around to prove they were working. So the woman sweetly upgraded their king bedroom into a presidential suite, inviting the two of them to discuss the details of the case together. When the assistant complained the hotel carpet wasn't slip-resistant and was a safety hazard, the woman shut her down point by point, and demanded evidence and witnesses. When the assistant's lie fell apart, her husband blamed her for being too aggressive. His feelings for her, or lack of them, were painfully obvious. Just then, her son called, sobbing. She rushed out, but the whole thing had been staged. The assistant told the boy to fake the crying. Even knowing the woman was next door comforting her son, the assistant still boldly seduced the husband, and although he pretended to resist, he couldn't push her away for long. That's when the woman walked in. He still lied, saying they were talking about work. She simply smiled and left. What he didn't know was that every move they made was being recorded, and she was watching it clearly from the other side of the surveillance feed. And that footage would become the most important weapon in her path to revenge.